So yeah, the first question we have is, what brings you here today? We know people have a lot of different reasons for wanting to get involved, and there are a lot of different volunteer opportunities today. So what was it about Big Brothers Big Sisters and mentoring that kind of piqued your interest? Is it something you're ready to sign up for as a mentor? You've always wanted to do it and you're exploring options. You're not sure about volunteering but want more information, or you just want to get out of work. We like to throw that one in there for fun. Um, Hopefully everybody wants to be here to learn, but I understand if you're just looking to get away as well. Looks like there's a lot of people that are wanting to volunteer and are just exploring options, which is fantastic. We really hope that the information we're able to give you today provides you with some answers on our opportunity and really shows you why, even though it's a little bit more of a longer term commitment, it is one that is very much worthwhile, and will really start engaging with you. So with that, before we get too deep into the weeds, I always just like to know from you guys, did you have a mentor growing up? Is there someone in your life that you looked up to that helped guide you along your path to where you are today? Take a minute, close your eyes, think about who that person was, what they meant to you, and where you'd be if you didn't have them in your lives. If there is anyone on here that is willing to share their story, and talk about that person, I would appreciate you coming off of mute, even saying a few words about what it meant to you to have a mentor growing up. It doesn't have to be very long. We just, again, want it to be engaging. We want to hear from people about their experiences. I will say personally for me, I had a mentor growing up. I wasn't part of Big Brothers Big Sisters, but I had a great family growing up. I'm from a really small town in Connecticut. My hometown had 3,000 people growing up. My graduating class from college had more people than my hometown. Is always a fun fact I tell people when I meet them. And so we were always very a tight-knit community. And it was, my mom was involved in a lot of volunteer opportunities. My dad was really involved in the community. And so I learned from a really young age what it meant to give back and to serve others and help others. But it really didn't hit me what a mentor was until I got to high school. I was fortunate enough to have a great family life, a great mom and a dad who were really supportive and encouraging. But there's something different about having someone outside of your family help you and guide you and provide recommendations for you. And I found that in my high school basketball coach. I was without a doubt one of the worst basketball players on our team. I was not good at all, but I had a blast with it and I really worked hard. And our coach really kind of saw that in me and he took me under his wing and we built up a great relationship in high school, just talking about stuff both on and off the court. But even to this day, he's someone, I'm 15 years out of high school and we still text at least monthly, just seeing how everyone's doing. I update him on my family and my life and my career. He's still coaching at my high school, so he gives me updates on that. And it's just been a great outside of family person to connect with and build up a relationship and go to with questions that I had. And so when I had an opportunity to join Big Brothers Big Sisters, it was something that I jumped at because I just realized how much having a mentor in my life meant to me, even if it wasn't exactly in this program. And so I appreciate you guys all getting involved. It sounds like a lot of you had a mentor growing up. I'm so glad to hear that. What we want to do now is just move on, tell you really quick a few things about us as an agency. High level, what do you expect about us? And the thing is, we are Big Brothers Big Sisters of Eastern Massachusetts. So we are the Eastern Mass affiliate of Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. There's about, I believe, 340-ish agencies across the nation serving kids with mentors. And as an agency as a whole, our belief, our overarching philosophy is that all kids have the power to change the world. And it's our job as adults to help empower, inspire, and defend that potential. We do this by working with families from under-resourced communities across Eastern Mass to provide one-to-one professionally supported mentorships and relationships with adults in the community. It's all about making sure that their children can thrive. We work with a wide variety our staff or our volunteers or the families that we work with we know that everybody is coming from a different place, but everybody deserves our full effort and our full respect and equality. And so we are really focused, especially during these times, of committing to be an anti-racist organization, really making sure that we are modeling the equity that we want to see in the world, making sure that, we believe that, we are the best and strongest when we're diverse in our opinions, we are really strong in our beliefs and convictions, and we are out there showing people what we think the world needs to see. We don't expect our mentors and our volunteers to be experts in this, but we ask that you come in with an open heart and an open mind and are willing to work on bettering yourself and bettering the community. We also believe that we're building bridges. We're connecting people from all different types of backgrounds and life experiences to help them get to know each other on a personal level. And so this volunteer opportunity is a great way to just get involved and support a child and have fun while doing it. To give you an example of, a visual of where we serve, everything in the green that you see here is our service territory. So we are from the New Hampshire border all the way down to the Cape and the islands, and roughly about as far west as Waltham. Our western border obviously is a little funky. But in this area, we're serving about 3,000 kids currently. But the reason we're still out doing information sessions, even amongst COVID, doing them virtually, is we have about 1,100 kids on our waiting list, 85% of which are boys. And so we are always out working to try to find new volunteers and find people that are willing to engage with the kids and get them that mentor that they're looking for. We are really focused on serving kids wherever you are. So wherever you live, as long as it's in this green territory, more likely than not, we can find a child to match you with. One thing people ask all the time is, what are the kids like that are in this program? And the kids they're normal kids. They're kids who could benefit from a positive adult role model. They, again, are from diverse backgrounds and communities. They come from all over Eastern Mass. Many of them do come from single parent or no parent homes. They're either living with a mom or dad or a guardian. But regardless of what their family background or their family history is like, the one commonality for all the kids and all the families that engage with us is that they're actually referred to us by their parents or their relatives, or in a couple of our school-based programs by their teachers and their guidance counselors. And the kids themselves have to want to be involved. So they are kids that the families have identified that they could benefit from having a mentor. The kids have been excited about potentially getting a mentor to connect with them. We're just looking to help build off of that excitement. The kids are between the ages of 7 and 12 for our community-based program. You can be matched with them in our program until they're 25 years old. So there's opportunities to build lifelong relationships with your littles. And most importantly, again, they're super excited to meet you. Some of these kids that are on our waiting list have been waiting for a year, 2 years, sometimes even, unfortunately, 3 years. Families have reached out to us saying that, we think our child would really benefit from this. We'd love to get them a mentor. And we've had to say, we apologize, but, we'll do everything that we can, but we don't have someone to match you with right now. So when we finally get that message to them that we have someone to match them with, they are just over the moon and excited to meet you. And so it's just a great opportunity to start a really strong bond with these children. Conversely, what as a volunteer can you expect in this program? What are we asking of you? And the simple answer is, we want you to be yourself. It's one of the easiest volunteer opportunities you can do, because literally you're just being yourself, doing the things that you do and just hanging out with a kid along the way. We want you to be a friend. We want you to be a role model, someone that's supportive and talks with them. But most importantly, it's someone to have fun with. Take them out, explore the community together, and build up a relationship through those shared experiences. And it's also for people of any age. The only real age requirement that we have is that you are over 18. It is for people that are young and young at heart. The majority of our volunteers are in their 20s or early 30s. They're younger professional. But we also have close to 500 bigs right now that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And our oldest volunteers right now are 79 years old. So again, it's for the young, and it's for the young at heart, as long as you want to give back to the community and support a child. Who you're not is really easy. You're not a parent, you're not a guardian, you're not a financial contributor to the family, and we're not asking you to be a savior of these children. You know, it's not something you need to come in and make these holistic changes. Like, they have a family at home, they have guardians, they have people to have that family relationship with. You, again, are that person that comes in, takes them out a couple of times a month, goes out and does fun activities, explores the community, and then drops them back off at home. It's just someone that can show up on a consistent basis and have a good time with them. That's really all that we ask in this program.
Hey, Mike, your audio is cutting out a little bit.
Oh, it is? Can you guys hear me?
Now we can
Is
hear
it
you.
okay? Okay, sorry about that, guys. Thanks for letting me know, Natasha. We have two programs where people can get involved. Most people know Big Brothers, Big Sisters from the community-based program. It's kind of our flagship program. That's what people have known us for. And that's the program where you're getting matched normally in non-COVID times with a child between the ages of 7 and 12. You're going out 2 times a month for at least 1 year. And again, exploring the community. It could be as simple as going out for pizza, or going to the movies, or taking a hike, or playing sports. Taking advantage of tickets that we get donated to us for the Museum of Science, or a Red Sox or a Celtics game. And just building up that relationship together through those shared experiences. And again, it's a 1-year commitment. So when you're getting together outside COVID, you know, I'll talk about the changes we've made in a second, but you're seeing your little 24 times in that 1 year. And we're asking that you just make that commitment. It's a super flexible program. People get concerned about the length of it being 1 year and having to see them that many times, but we want it to be flexible. It's a program that we've designed and set up to be something that fits in around your life. It's not something that takes over your life and takes up a significant amount of time. It's all about the communication with your little's family, letting them know when you're available, what times you're available, and what you want to do with them. And our families are typically very flexible as well to make sure that we're able to meet up. Most people are getting together on weekends because that's when their schedules allow for, but if you have a different work schedule or you have plans for a certain weekend, that's totally okay. You just talk with the family and you say, I can't do this weekend, but I'd love to do, can I take them out for ice cream during the week, or can we get together the following weekend because I'm around? We work with you on that. Other program, it's a little bit more structured. We are working on right now, it's our 5th year of Mentor 2.0. And it's all focused on college and career readiness. So we actually work with 3 high schools in the greater Boston area. The Boston Green Academy in Brighton, the Edward M. Kennedy Academy for Health Careers near Fenway, and the Community Academy for Science and Health, the Cash School down in Dorchester. And this program is our newest program. Again, this is currently our 5th year. And it's focused, again, on helping kids figure out what it is they want to do after high school. Do they want to go to college? Do they want to enter the military? Do they want to enter the trade school or the workforce? And helping them get on the right path to whatever they're choosing. It's a little bit different structure. The kids in our program take a class once a week taught by a Big Brothers Big Sisters staff person right at their school as part of their class curriculum. And that class is all about soft skills. So grit and resilience, growth mindset, time management, those kinds of things. And then you as the mentor engage with them once a month through an online platform. You respond to a prompt based off of what they learn that week in school and just weave in your own life experiences. So it's really nice because it's something that you can do from wherever you are, whether you're at the office or the hospital or you're at your house. You can log on. The prompts typically take 15 to 20 minutes once a week, and that's your commitment. And then once a month during the school year, we host activity nights at each of the schools. And that gives you an opportunity to go to the school. They typically are from 5:30 to 7:30 after work. And you hang out with your little for 2 hours. You have an hour of a group activity that you do together. We feed you dinner. And then you have 45 minutes to an hour or so of just one-on-one time, building up your relationship face-to-face and having that personal interaction instead of just over a computer. That program is a 2 school year commitment. It only runs from October to May during the school year. and then you're off for the summer. And then we'd ask that you reconnect with your mentee the following October for their sophomore year. You will notice that this does have an asterisk next to it right now because of COVID and all the questions and concerns around what school is looking like right now because of COVID. We are not matching the 9th grade class this year. We do have a small number of matches that we're looking to make for the upperclassmen. Particularly, we're looking for women or people of color for that program. So if it's something that you're interested in, I encourage you to apply, but it might take us a little bit longer to match you for that program until once COVID is over and we are actively matching the new grades again. That being said, again, how have we adapted to COVID? Everything has changed, as I'm sure you guys are abundantly aware, being in the medical profession. But what we have done is really shift our entire process from application and enrollment to match meetings and match get-togethers to being virtual. We believe that we are still able to provide a unique opportunity for kids to be served, even if it's on Zoom or Google Hangouts. And we've found from the matches we've been able to make since the start of COVID, we've made close to 350 matches in that time. We're seeing some great successes, even with the virtual engagement that has been going on. Right now you'll connect over Zoom or FaceTime or whatever works best for you. And instead of it being 2 times a month for 2 or 3 hours at a time, we're asking you to get together once a week for 30 minutes. So that flexible schedule I was talking about before with our community-based program is now honestly even more flexible because it's only half an hour in the entire week that we're asking you to get together with your little. We as an agency are always there to make sure that you have the resources necessary to succeed in being a match. You will have a match support coordinator, regardless of the program that you are in. That is your resource. That's your person to reach out to if you have any questions or comments or concerns. You have a check-in call monthly with them to see how everything is going. They'll see how the life of your match is progressing and developing. But then you also have their contact information outside of those monthly calls. If you have a question that comes up or you're concerned about something, you reach out to them, you explain the situation to them, and our team will help you out. We don't ever want you to feel like you are matched and then thrown to the wolves or put on an island with your little and said, just, go have fun. We want to make sure that you are in a position where you are as comfortable and as confident in what you're able to provide your little as possible. And so we provide you with those hands-on resources to help you. Part of that resource is an activity guide that we'll provide you each week that gives ideas of what you can do virtually with your littles. There's a packet of probably 30 to 35 activities we've had now because of the length we've been remote, giving different ideas of things that you can do. They're meant to be ideas that you can use. You don't have to do those every week. It just gives you something to build off of for your relationship until you're able to get that footing and get into a cadence of you knowing what you and your little enjoy doing together each week. So that's the program that we have. It's virtual right now. We have started allowing in-person get-togethers again, but it all has to do with the comfort of everyone involved. So the volunteer, the family, and the child. If everybody is comfortable getting back together in person, you'll work with your match support coordinator to coordinate a safe space to do that, outside, wearing masks, social distancing, all of the normals of the current life. And if someone isn't comfortable with it, whether it's you or the family or the child, that is totally okay. We just continue moving on with the virtual aspect until everybody is in a position where they're comfortable. Again, we're never going to force people into a situation that they're not fully comfortable with, because that doesn't breed success in a match. What we've seen from our matches over the years is a lot of success. We've been an agency for 70 years. We've made tens of thousands of matches in that time. But even in just more recent data, we're really seeing successes of our matching process and the successes of the relationships that our matches are building. We have that 1-year commitment. We know that not everyone is going to make that. We do our best to get to that point, but we're really pleased to say that 93% of our matches are making it at least 6 months, and 76% are making it that first year, both of which are higher than the national average for Big Brothers Big Sisters. So something that we're very proud of. And the average length of our match right now is actually significantly exceeding that 1 year expectation. It's actually 836 days is the average match length for our bigs and littles right now, which equals out to about 2 years and 4 months roughly. So you're seeing people stay in our program essentially more than double the requirement because of the relationships that we're able to help foster and build up. We have bigs too, though, that have been matched for 5, 10, 15 years. And again, as I mentioned before, you could be matched with your little in our program until they're 25. So there's opportunities to have a 15 to 18 year engagement with us as you continue your relationship with your little. And the programs are having an impact on these kids as well. 90% are saying that it's helped them make better life choices. 77% are saying that they're doing better in school, and 76 are saying it helped them learn right from wrong. And while I know that these might seem very high level things that they're achieving, the fact that you're able to have this positive impact is really exciting and something that we really like to boast about for our bigs and our littles. Now, this is all well and good, and I've talked about all the really exciting parts about it, but I also know as a person and as someone that went through it myself, there are hesitations. People have concerns about mentoring. It's not a one day activity. It's definitely more of a long-term thing. So I'd like to go into a new section talking about perceptions versus reality of what you can expect in this program. But before doing that, I have another poll question that just asks, what hesitations, if any, do you have about becoming a mentor? The 3 that I have listed here, the time commitment, not being good with kids, or living up to expectations, those are the top 3 that I've seen in my year and a half being here. If you have another concern that's not listed here, I encourage you to write something in the chat. Natasha can share those out. And then we'll just talk through each of these kind of topic by topic and let you know what you're expecting and what you can really expect, what our expectations are of you for this program. It does look like the time commitment is the biggest one. That is routinely, whenever I'm giving this poll, the #1 response. So I appreciate you guys sharing that with me. It's very exciting to see that there are some people that are saying none of the above. I'm really excited to hear that. We'll move on now, and I'll talk through each of these top 3.
Hey, Mike, I just want to let you know one more time, audio's a little in and out.
Sorry, guys. How about now? Is this good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That first perception that people have that we were talking about is it's going to take up a significant portion of my time. I don't have the time to commit to it right now. In reality, again, we have multiple programs that people can get involved with, each with varying degrees of time commitment and engagement. So that is definitely something that you can consider. Everybody's not, thrown into the same bucket of expectations for that. But even if you want to do our community-based program, which is, our most quote unquote time intensive one, it's 2 times a month for 2 to 4 hours per outing. It's a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, or getting dinner together after school one day or after work one day in the week. And again, with COVID, the commitment's even less. It's 30 minutes once a week, connecting virtually over Zoom or Google Hangouts. So we want people to know that we understand it's a longer term commitment, but we are here to make it as flexible and as comfortable for you as possible in your schedule. The second one is I've never worked with kids before and I won't know what to do. And full transparency here, I actually was in this bucket before I started with Big Brothers Big Sisters. I had never attended an information session before. My wife for the past 8 years had been telling me, you need to become a big brother, you'd be so great at it. And me saying, I'm not great with kids. It's not my cup of tea. My wife is a teacher. She's great with kids, but it just wasn't something I ever felt comfortable with. But then I joined the agency and I did a little bit of reading and obviously learned about our different programs and was kind of kicking myself afterwards. And I'm like, oh, I totally could have done this. And I could have been giving back, a lot sooner than I did. And again, it was to know you're not alone in this adventure. You have that match support advocate that's going to be there and be your resource throughout the life of your match. We know not everybody coming into this has experience working with kids, and that's why we're there to help you every step of the way. While we won't be there physically with you on your outings, We are there to talk with you in that monthly call. And if you have any questions in between those calls, to make sure that you are as comfortable and as confident in your program and your support as you can be. And the last thing I hear all the time is that like mentors need to have all the answers. They need to be this perfect person that hasn't ever done anything wrong and is that this beacon of light. And the reality is, like, you're not going to have all the answers, and that's totally okay. You don't need to be this superhero. You don't need to be a savior. You just need to be someone that shows up on a consistent basis and is willing to engage and listen to your little. A lot of mentorship is just listening, learning what's going on with your little, and helping them along the course of their life. You might have in-depth, deep conversations, but a lot of the time it's more surface level, fun and engaging conversations. You're talking about each other's favorite likes and dislikes. You're talking about a funny movie that you saw, or a sporting event that you like, or a team that you like, and just engaging with them that way. Being you is the best thing that you can be, and that's going to help your little open up to you the quickest. Another really exciting thing to do to this is because you'd be able to join your colleagues. We actually already have 10 bigs from MGH that have signed up to be bigs, have been bigs for a little bit of time. And I'm excited and appreciative that Elisa, Carolyn, Julia, and Jennifer have offered to share their experiences with us today. I know Elisa and Carolyn are on. Julia, were you able to join? I wasn't able to see you before. But if you are, I just invite you at this time, maybe Elisa, you can start, by just talking to everybody about why did you decide to become a big, and what's your experience been like so far?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. First of all, in the spirit of full transparency, I kind of call myself, instead of a big sister, the big grandma. And so I'm on one of those people that are on the other spectrum in terms of age. And I just felt that, I had 2 kids and I've been through it all. And I kind of, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, et cetera, et cetera. And I just thought that, it's something I really enjoy doing, and kind of being with kids and doing kids stuff. I've always enjoyed doing kids stuff. And so I've been doing this for about 4.5 years, and I have to say it's better than I ever imagined. It's very rewarding. I don't think it's onerous in terms of a time commitment. It's relatively easy. There are lots of free stuff that, things that you can do. And it's just, I think it really does demonstrate just the fact that just being there for someone that doesn't have the resources, doesn't have family resources, I think makes a big difference.
Awesome. Thanks, Elisa. Carolyn, maybe you could speak next, just where you're in the Mentor 2.0 program, just to give insights into both the community and the Mentor 2.0 from Elisa and Carolyn.
Sure. So hi, everyone. My name is Carolyn McDonald. As Mike said, I am in the 2.0 program, and I had actually gone to one of these information sessions a couple of years ago. And just based on some things going on in my life and my rotating schedule as a nurse, I really felt that it would be potentially very challenging for me to commit to the community program. And also just based on where I live and stuff, I know that a lot of people use the lunch. They were saying they use the lunch hour to like maybe touch base with their mentee at school, and it wasn't going to work out for me as well. So I find the Mentor 2.0 program to be really wonderful. My little Annabelle is at the Edward M. Kennedy School. So before COVID, I was really enjoying the in-person, once a month group activities that we went to. And then of course I talk to her every week, and we chat on we have an app that we chat on, and then we have an online platform as well. So we have opportunities to be a little bit less formal with interaction, in addition to keeping some structure with talking about career and really helping her to set goals. I mean, for me personally, I felt like I needed a little bit more structure as well. I mean, I love kids, and I think that I was a little bit apprehensive about maybe the middle school or high school age group, and just being able to be on the same level with them and really connect with them. So I kind of do appreciate the structure that the Mentor 2.0 program has. And I've really built a great relationship with Annabelle, and I think that we're becoming closer. And it's really great to be able to watch her grow into a great young lady. And, the Big Brother, Big Sister, they're really wonderful at supporting us. And I would talk to Julia Brown, who's since left, but every month we would touch base, and she was just very open to hearing very honest feedback. And it was just very, very helpful to have her as a support for me as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Carolyn. Jennifer, are you there and available?
Yes, I am. Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. I'm in clinic, so I had to run away.
No worries.
Yeah, so I have always really liked working with kids, and I previously served in the Peace Corps as a teacher before I became a nurse midwife, and I just kind of missed having that interaction. So that was one reason that I really wanted to do Big Brothers Big Sisters. The other was that I was relatively new to Boston, and like honestly it was kind of selfish. I was like, oh, there's all these fun things, but everyone I'm friends with here has done them already, so I'll find a small child and force her to do things with me. So it's been kind of fun, like exploring Boston together. My little is named Robelli, and she's super sweet. She's from the Dominican Republic, and both of us speak Spanish, so that's been kind of fun to be able to like share her culture in that way. She's super smart. She has so many questions. At the beginning of COVID, she would call like every day wanting to know how many deaths had happened. And she was like really into the epidemiology of it all. So I was like, let's get away from the deaths, but let's start talking about like what epidemiology is. So she's gotten into that. And she always surprises me. Like every day you'll be having a normal conversation, like when we're hanging out, and then she'll ask something really serious, like, what is the Holocaust? And I'm like, okay, let's have this really serious conversation now. But I think she really enjoys just having someone that she can talk to that's not her mom. And she also has an older sister who she's constantly compared to. So I think for her, it's been really nice to have someone, like a person just for her, that her older sister doesn't. Her older sister does Big Brothers Big Sisters, but obviously she has a different big sister. So it's been really nice for her to have someone else.
Awesome.
COVID has definitely been an interesting experience, though. So.
Yeah, no, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Elisa and Jennifer, Carolyn kind of touched on in her discussion being concerned about the relatability that she would have with a high school student. Did you guys, kind of tying it back to that last slide, did either of you have any concerns leading into becoming a big, and kind of how have those changed or, I guess faded, hopefully, since you've started and been matched?
Are you
Jennifer,
asking? Are you asking all of us again, or?
Yeah, I just Carolyn spoke to it a little bit. So Elisa, I was just asking you and Jennifer for your thoughts.
I have to say, I really didn't.
Okay. That's great.
I mean, I kind of understood the time commitment. It's worked out really well. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I guess for me, my schedule's very irregular because I deliver babies. So I think that was a concern, was like, will I be able to see her at the right times? Actually, when she wasn't in school, it was a little easier because we could go do things whenever. Once we were able to see each other in person again, but we've made it work. I think just definitely like making sure that you're really open with the family members about your schedule is the easiest way to go about that. But we've definitely, like, if I can't do it one weekend, we'll do the next weekend or do things after school.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you, Elisa, Carolyn, and Jennifer, for sharing your stories. I really do appreciate you taking the time to join us and share with your colleagues just what it's really like and what they can expect. It's one thing to hear from me talk about Big Brothers Big Sisters, but it's always a great opportunity to hear from colleagues that work in the same area and the same company as you, talk about their experiences. Before we move on, I did want to give you guys one additional insight into this, from a different perspective. Natasha, who's interning with us this fall and who's been monitoring the chat for today's session, has the unique perspective of working with us, because when she was growing up, she actually was a little herself. And so she's kind of come full circle and is now interning with us. But she's offered to also share her experience for you guys as being someone that had a big and what it meant to her growing up. So Natasha, would you be willing to say a few words?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I don't want to take up too much of your time with my perspective, but I do think it's an important one to get because I think adults super overlook the little things, and it's so easy to get caught up in how intimidating being a mentor can be. But from my perspective, I was 7 years old when I was matched with my big, and I was psyched. I was so excited. My older sister had a big, and obviously I was super jealous, so I wanted my own. So then when I got a big, I was so happy, and it really was the littlest things that made my day. We would go to the park. She would make sandwiches and bring massive packs of blueberries, and I would eat the whole thing playing in sand, and it was so fun. And it's really the littlest things that I remember and really kind of made me who I am. She gradually and through little things we would do together, she helped me become a very confident person and someone who trusts my gut. And I think she really has made an incredible impact on my life. And so we've been matched for 13 years, which is super awesome and so much fun. So it's been really cool to grow up with her, and she's kind of been a really awesome friend for me over the years. So I really do think all of you would make awesome bigs, and I know it can be an intimidating thing to step into, but it really is so life-changing. And I hope my perspective shows you how much you really can change a child's life.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Natasha. And again, thanks, Elisa and Carolyn and Jennifer, for all of you sharing your stories. It's so great to hear those firsthand accounts for what it's like to be a big. Before we move on, the next thing that I want to talk about is, before we wrap up, what the process looks like for applying. Hopefully it's something you've now become interested in and really wanting to get engaged in. So before we talk about the next steps, one last poll question for you all is, there it is. No, how likely are you to apply with us? Oh, we've already got some responses, which is super exciting. We just want to know. There's no pressure. It's all anonymous, but we hope that this has had a significant impact on you and have wanted to get you involved in this volunteer opportunity. No, not likely so far. That always makes me feel great. But we really appreciate everybody taking the time to come out and listen to us. And the next steps in this process are really easy. We want to make this as streamlined a process to get you all started as possible. So what it's going to be is actually there's 4 steps that I'm going to talk through on the road to becoming a big. Honestly, the first, you're taking part in right now. It's being part of an information session, getting more information about our programs and how you can get involved, what it's like to be involved. From there, Natasha is going to put into the chat a link to our inquiry form that you can click on, and that will help get your application started, get you into our system. Really, it takes about 30 seconds to fill out. It is just putting in your contact information so that we can reach out to you and get the next step started. Next step is going to be an interview. The interview is admittedly the most intense part of the entire process. It's just telling us about yourself and your expectations for the role. The interview does take about an hour and a half. Some people have called it a therapy session before. But we use it as a way to gather enough insight and information on you, what your personality is like, what your background's like, what your interests are, what your expectations are for this and becoming a big. We use that. We do the same thing with the families and the children and get information from them. And it helps us with the matching process. We work really hard to make matches based off of your interview responses and your background and your personality. We want to match you with a child that has similarities to you so that from the very beginning, you have some sort of bedrock to build up off of, to really, kick off on the right foot this relationship that you're going to have. From there, we will go through a matching process. We will reach out and tell you, we have typically up to 3 kids that we think are going to be a good fit for you. We'll tell you a little bit about them with no personal information shared at that time. And you have an opportunity at that point to say yes or no. We do the same thing with the families and the kids. You as a potential big would be presented to the family and say, here's someone that we think would be an amazing big for your child. Here's a little bit about them, again, with no personal information shared. And then they too have an opportunity to say yes or no. So you think of every relationship as a triangle of you, the family, and the little. And if any point in that triangle says no for whatever reason, that's totally okay. There's no judgment on our end. We just go back to the drawing board and we find a new match for you. Similar to COVID and getting back together in person that I talked about before, we're never going to force people into a match that not everybody is comfortable with. We want to make sure that everybody's saying yes, everybody is really excited, everyone's really eager to get it started out. And when that point comes, when everybody says yes, we start your match meeting. Normally in non-COVID times, this would result in you joining your enrollment coordinator, going to your little's house for the first time, and meeting them at the comfort of their home. You do an icebreaker as a group with your enrollment coordinator, you and the child and their family, getting to know each other in a group setting, do some icebreakers. And then you have about 15 to 20 minutes or so to get to know your little one-on-one for the first time. And then you have about 15 to 20 minutes to get to know the family and the parents alone. Exchange contact information, set up that first outing, talk about expectations that each of you have, and really build, again, that framework for this relationship. And then from there, you're off and running. We are there to support you every step of the way, but you'll be working on that match. If you decide that you want to do Mentor 2.0, a lot of this is the same except for the meeting. You don't go to their house. You'll just meet them at school at the beginning of the program. But really, other than that, it's still, we're trying to match you with someone that has similarities to you to help build up that bond. So that's everything that I have to say. That's the programs, and I really hope it was enlightening and informative for you. I do want to open it up for questions. If anybody has any questions, I'll stop sharing so that I can see everybody. But would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What are your concerns? Is there anything that I didn't answer for you that you want to know about? This all did get recorded as well, so we will share that out amongst the group. And so you're feel free to rewatch it, take all this information in again, or share it with colleagues or friends that may not have been able to attend today. But other than that, I will stop sharing, and thank you guys again for your time. Any questions?
Someone asked in the chat if our mentors represent a diverse background.
Great question. We are working on that. We will say right now about 70% of our littles identify as people of color. And conversely, our mentors right now, about 70% identify as white. So it is something that we are really working on to kind of close that gap. We realize as an agency, again, focusing on serving everyone in the community, that we need to be better at finding a more diverse group of volunteers. So we are actively working on that.
Hi, this is Julie. Were there any other chat questions?
I think that was the only one for now.
I wanted to pick up on what Alyssa was saying, I think it was earlier, in terms of the range of different mentors. And clearly the program is successful by targeting a one-to-one type of thing. But I was wondering, you were mentioning sounds like there's many who haven't had the final match, that are just waiting to be matched. I didn't know if maybe during the virtual period there might be a possibility for, we work in labs or lab teams, or maybe just some sort of pairing with a primary lab PI and maybe even other members of their group who might help span that range and make it more diverse group, maybe a few people, not many people, just maybe 2 or 3 people or something like that. Just
You mean more than one mentor for a child?
yeah, during this virtual period or something for those who have no matches.
Yeah, no, we've been approached about that we've kind of focused on sticking with the one-to-one
It sounds
mentor just because a lot of the children don't have that person in their lives. You know, they've always had more than one person that they're trying to interact with. And so we want to have that dedicated one-to-one person in that relationship to build off of, which is why we're still kind of focused on that, that aspect of the relationship.
okay. Because, you know, if with time, you know, there would be a primary person responsible for the one-on-one, but it might be nice to just bring in younger people on some of the meetings or something like that.
Yep, no, that makes a lot of sense. You know, we can appreciate the insights.
Another question, Mike, from the chat is background checks or having Corey checks done?
Yes, so that's part of the application process. You go through the interview, and then we do have background Corey and SORI checks that you'll need to do, as well as references. You need to provide 3 references for it, but that process is a really quick and streamlined process for the volunteers. I went through it myself. I'm matched in a program, our site-based program that runs through elementary schools. That's on hold right now. But you know, after the interview, I submitted the forms and the paperwork for the background checks and the references, and I think it took me about 25 minutes one night after work. So it's a really streamlined process for you guys to go through.
Someone else wants to know if BIGs are charged a fee for background checks.
No.
Okay, and another question, Mike, from the chat. What would happen if a BIG needs to move for work?
So it depends on where you have to move. If you are still in the relative area and can get together, we would love to see that match continue as much as possible. If you are moving to a different state or somewhere else, we would typically close out that match, but everything is focused on positive goodbyes. So even if a match has to end, the ending is focused on what are the positive reasons why. You know, the BIG got a new job and it's a new opportunity in their career, or if the Littles family has to move, or you know, whatever the situation is, we find a positive in that, so that you know you're not ending on a bad note, and we're trying to keep up as positive an aspect in this match as possible. Great question.
Okay, someone else asked, for people with children, do you recommend they have littles their own age, younger or older?
Meaning the BIG has children?
I think so.
Okay. If you have children, there are many BIGs that, you know, volunteer with us that have their own children at home. And it totally depends on, you know, what you are looking for. You, again, during the interview, have an opportunity to talk about preferences that you might have, whether you want to be matched with a child that's on the, you know, younger age of the spectrum, if you're going for community-based, or the 12 range of the community-based, or you can decide, you know, maybe because I have kids, you know, Mentor 2.0 is a program that fits a little bit better into my schedule, just commitment-wise. That's something that you can to talk through with your family and discuss in that way. We still would ask, even if you have kids, that you dedicate one-on-one time to spending time with your little. We try to avoid having group outings where your children are coming along as well. It can happen every once in a while, but we'd ask that the majority of your outings be just one-on-one. So it's really up to your preference and the age of the kid you're looking to support. Anyone else?
We have a few more questions in the chat, Mike.
Great. This is great.
Yes, awesome. Are there any anticipated charges besides what we choose to do as our activity?
No. Nope. There are no charges from Big Brothers Big Sisters, and it's dependent on you, what you guys decide you want to do for an outing. we really are a big believer, and I think Natasha talked about this in her explanation too, that, the low to no cost activities that you guys can find, going to a park or, just hanging out together, sitting at home and watching Netflix, whatever it is, are really the ones that you can build up a strong bond on. We don't want you spending a lot of money on the outings. We don't want it being something that you're planning these over the top extravagant plans, all the time. And then there's also opportunities if you want to do something a little bit bigger. We as a nonprofit get tickets donated to us all the time for different activities, whether it's a museum of science or a museum of fine arts or a sporting event or different social events that happen throughout the year. We have an opportunity to provide you with tickets at no cost to take advantage of those experiences as well. But we really try to focus on the low to no cost aspect, and it's dependent on the match, whether you decide as a big that you want to cover those costs for your little, or you want to split the costs with the family. It's just a conversation you have at the beginning of your relationship about how that's going to be handled.
Okay, 2 more questions. Is there an opportunity for only bigs to get together and share best practices and learnings?
100%. I would totally encourage people to get together, especially if you're at the same, company. I know MGH is huge. You have the 10 bigs right now. Hopefully, more decide to sign up after today. But there is opportunities. It's not something we as an agency are directly involved in, but for other agencies that have, had a large number of bigs, I encourage them to, figure out what is the best internal, communication. Is it Slack or a Facebook group or some other internal message board that you guys can set up a group together and all connect and build up a relationship that way. We also have a Facebook group for bigs that you can join and follow along on that. People post all the time outings that they've done with their big or their littles. Especially with COVID, they've come up with unique ways of engaging them online. It's a great resource for you to kind of get together and realize that you have people that are here doing the same thing and have a lot of great ideas on what to do. That might be something you never thought of.
Okay, last question. I think we have a couple people are a little confused on the difference between community-based and Mentor 2.0. So could you just talk about the difference between meeting at school and then meeting out in the community?
Yeah, for sure. So community-based is you are going out into the community. You will go normally, again, during COVID times, non-COVID times, I should say. You'll pick them up from their house and you'll go out and you'll do an activity. Activities could range, literally anything you can think of can be an outing. I had a big once reach out to us and say, or a little reach out, say, when she was a little, one of the most memorable outings she and her big did was they went to a local cemetery and sat on a bench and made up a backstory about one of the headstones. And it caught my eye, took me off guard for a second. I was like, well, that's not something I would particularly choose to do, but I use it as an example in these sessions because it's literally anything you can think of can be an outing and will have this really unique experience for your little. Mentor 2.0 is a little bit more structured. So you're engaging with them strictly online through this platform that we offer you from a company called iMentor. It was already online even pre-COVID. So it's less face-to-face interaction. You're engaging mostly through this online platform, and it's really just responding to prompts, helping them figure out what it is they want to do with their life. It's a lot less, I'll say, experiential outings versus community-based. And then you have, again, that one time a month during the school year where you'll go to their school and hang out with them at their school. You'll do that group activity together. We will feed you dinner because it's at night normally. And then you'll have 45 minutes to an hour of just hanging out, building up a relationship, reading books together, doing homework, just talking and playing games. It's totally up to you. It's kind of your free time to build up that relationship. Does that clarify the two for whoever asked? I think that is a yes. If there's any other questions, happy to stay on and answer them for you. Otherwise, thank you all for your time. I really appreciate you again, spending your lunch hour with us. And learning a little bit more about our programs. You know, hopefully it was enlightening for you. Hopefully it really gets you motivated to volunteer and give back, whether it's with us or somewhere else. But, you know, we are truly appreciative of you taking the time to listen to us and hopefully get you involved with our programs. So thank you guys, everybody, and we will we'll end that here.
I see a message in the chat. Yes, we will send the recording for those that were not able to come.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.